And the story here is stupid. Surprise! The G.I. Joe movie, what were you expecting? But it is extremely dumb, but I will say it's kind of fun. But the story here, I'm getting ahead of myself. The story here follows, of course, the G.I. Joes, and you got the Roadblock. You got Roadblock, played by Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. You got Duke, once again, played by Channing Tatum. You got Lady J, played by Adriana Palicki. Adriana Palicki? I don't know. And you got Flint, played by DJ Cotrona? I think I'm saying your name right, I hope. And there's a couple other people that show up later in the film. Of course, you got Snake Eyes, played by Ray Park once again. And they are, they're doing their thing. They're doing what the president is telling them because, the president controls the G.I. Joes and whatnot. And then the president decides, you know what? I got what I needed. Let's go and execute the G.I. Joes, and the G.I. Joes all get obliterated besides a few of them led by Roadblock. And you find out quickly that the U.S. president isn't actually the U.S. president. He is a man named Zartan, who is a Cobra member, of course, and he is a master of disguise. If you saw the last movie, they explained that. It was actually at the end of the film, so you already know this. But the story there, pretty much, is the G.I. Joe's trying to find out who the president really is, trying to find out what the president really wants, and of course, it all leads up to Cobra Commander, Cobra as a whole, and the annihilation of the world, because Cobra Commander wants to take it over. And, yeah, that's really the story. I mean, they go and try to get retaliation. So, the story here is ridiculous. It's dumb. It's a G.I. Joe story. You know where it's going to go. It's predictable as all hell. And the characters aren't really that great, but you know what? I did enjoy some. I really like Duke and Roadblock in this film. I really like Channing Tatum. He's become a much better actor since the last G.I. Joe film, which he was terrible in that, really. I mean, there was a couple of times where I was like, oh, I kind of like him. But he was, for the most part, terrible. But here he's actually really good, and I actually really like his chemistry with Dwayne Johnson, which I never thought I would ever say. That's a very strange chemistry, but they are great in this film. I actually really enjoy their chemistry in the beginning of the film, and they're really good in this film. Of course, Dwayne Johnson on his own, he's awesome, but he's not in the film as much as I would have hoped. But, they're great in the film. Now, the rest of the acting and the rest of the characters are more of a mixed bag because you have a couple of cool ones. You have, of course, Bruce Willis, who plays Joe Colton, a new character in this film, but he's the original Joe, and he's a badass in this film. He really is. Even though he's getting much older, Bruce Willis, I always love when he's in an action film, and he's great in this. I think he delivers some of his funny lines. He cracks jokes about his old age. I always like to see Bruce Willis in films. That's just me. But I really like Bruce Willis in this. Adriana Palicki, I did not care for her in this film. She is hot. There's parts where she is wearing barely anything in a dress that's skin tight. It's just hot. But she is lifeless, and she has daddy issues in this film, and I do not like that. Whoever wrote that, go kill yourself, because that was the dumbest side plot I've ever seen in a movie like this. This movie is dumb, but that was dumb. I'm sorry. I rolled my eyes at that. I was like, oh my god. And the resolution is so dumb too. If you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But she has daddy issues, let's just say that. And I didn't really care for her. DJ Cotrona is barely there. He's just there. He has some cool action scenes, but for the most part, him as Flint, barely there. He's just in the background for the most part. And of course you have the two ninjas. You have Storm Shadow, played by Bong Hun Lee, which I kept making jokes about. Bong, like Inception. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. But Storm Shadow is awesome in this film. But of course, the best one, Snake Eyes. Hell yeah, Snake Eyes, baby. And I love me some Snake Eyes, and he was the best part of the last film, and I would even say he's probably the best part here. I really like him. Ray Park does a great job. So overall, characters are a mixed bag, but I really enjoyed the story for what it was. The writing was definitely not good, I will not say that, but there's parts where it was actually kind of funny. It had some humor that actually worked, but for the most part, the writing wasn't that great. There's a lot of really bad dialogue in the film, but the story itself is G.I. Joe. It definitely is. It's Cobra trying to take over the world, and some of the characters are fun to watch. I enjoyed the story for the most part. The reason why you're going to go see this film is for the action and the special effects, and even though there is a lot of parts where it does slow down, and there's a lot of talking, and there's parts where I'm actually getting a little tired and this is kind of boring, this is a little bit too silly. There is moments where the action comes in, and the action is really, really damn good. Well choreographed, well shot. I knew what was going on. The special effects were actually way better than the last film, so it didn't bring it down like it did in the last film. The special effects were really good. The action was well done. This movie had a smaller budget than the last film. It has more people that are recognizable, and it has better special effects and action. And I think it's actually longer. I don't know what the hell happened there, but this movie was so much fun when it gets to the action. When it's, you know, they're sitting down talking about stuff, sometimes it gets convoluted, sometimes it's like, oh, they're referencing things from the first movie. I don't remember that. Maybe I should have watched the... No, I don't need to watch that last film again. I mean, it was a fun one, but I don't need to. They're referencing things, I'm like, just get to the action. And when it does, it's a lot of fun. It really is. And the special effects are great here. The story itself is ridiculous, but it is fun at times. There is some jokes that work. A lot of jokes do fail, don't get me wrong. But there's some jokes that do work. The chemistry between Duke and Roadblock themselves, I actually really liked in the beginning. So overall, even though this movie has slow moments, I have to, and some pretty bad performances at times, I have to give it I'm just going to give it a straight up 30 out of 40. I enjoyed this film. I don't know. That's all I can say. I mean, there's a lot of silly stuff. The RZA as a blind master. Do I need to say anything else? I mean, it's silly. So overall, I think this is a fun film. Just nothing amazing. So there you go. There's my review for G.I. Joe Retaliation. Give it a look. It's fun. Matinee worthy, definitely. So there you go. There's my review. Thank you, and goodbye.